Hi, in this video we're going to talk about writing linear equations using the slope-intercept form of the linear equation. You will become very familiar with this form as you're studying for Algebra 1. But first let's get a couple of definitions. A linear equation. You'll notice in the word linear you see the word line. A line equation is simply an equation whose graph is a straight line. So what is a y-intercept? A y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Let's see an example here in this graph. We have our y-axis, our x-axis. So we're going to look for two things here. First of all, your y-intercept is the point at which your line that you're looking at crosses or intersects with the y-axis. So as you can see here, that point would be 0, 4. So it will be simply your y-intercept is 4. What is then is your slope? As we looked at in our last section, we have a negative slope. So we will go down 4 and over 8. Slope would be then a negative because we're going down 4/8. This simplifies mathematically to a negative 1/2. So our slope-intercept form is going to look something similar to this. You will have y equals your slope, which we said is a negative 1/2, times x plus your y-intercept, which is 4. We're going to look at more here on this next chart. We're going to identify the slope and the y-intercept using this form. The slope-intercept form of a linear equation, as we saw on the last slide, looks like this. Y equals m, which represents your slope, times x plus b, which is where it crosses the y-axis. Please memorize this form. It is extremely important, and it would be very helpful in answering a lot of the questions and in determining the relationships between x and y in the coming chapters that we will study. So this question is, what are the slope and the y-intercept of this equation? They give us y equals 3x minus 5. Our slope can be found as the coefficient. Coefficient means the number preceding the x. And we see 3 times x. So 3, you simply take that out of this equation and you say slope equals 3. In this case. What about the y-intercept? We know that the b describes where it hits the axis. We have 5 and preceding it is a negative 1. So this will actually be a positive slope, but it intersects y at a negative 5. So if we want to write an equation from a slope and a y-intercept, it would go like this. They may give you your slope and y-intercept, asking you to write an equation. This is very simple if you know y equals mx plus b. Write an equation of the line with slope 3/8 and a y-intercept of 6. Take your step 1, take your slope-intercept form. You know the slope is m. You know your y-intercept is b. So simply plug in this number here for m and plug in a 6 instead of b. So my equation of a line with this slope, this intercept, is simply y equals 3/8 x plus 6. So in step 2, you substitute in the values that you are given. Don't make that hard. It is very simple. So writing an equation from a graph. If you're given a line, and a line can be defined by any 2 points. And in this case, we know we have point 0, 2, and we have point 4, negative 1. So first of all, our step 1, we need to take these 2 points. And you know how to find your slope. The change in y's divided by the changes in x's. So you'll take your y values. You have a 2, take away negative 1. Same thing with those minus a negative is same thing as a plus. On your x values, you have a 0, take away 4. So what do we end up with? 2 plus 1 is 3, and then you have a negative 4. So your m, or your slope, is -3/4. B is very simple to find. Your y-intercept is where it crosses y. It crosses y at the 2 because of 0, 2. So B equals 2. Write the equation from the graph. Okay, we know our m, we know our b. Step 3, you just simply trust your y equals mx plus b form. You put in your -4 for m. You put in a +2. Draw your circle and smile. We will continue this on the next video.